When you log into the SmarterTrack management interface for the very first time, you'll see one of two pop-up windows. This one, which you already know about, of course, or this one. This is the agent status screen, and from here, agents select which department groups they want to be logged into and whether they want to start receiving tickets, live chats, or both within these groups. The agent status window will pop up each time an agent logs back into the management interface, but they can stop have it automatically displaying by simply checking this checkbox. If they do that, however, they need to remember to be sure to set their agent status by clicking here. Otherwise, they may not be able to interact with users via live chat or tickets. Now, before we get into demos of how to add employees, create departments, and other features within SmarterTrack, let's briefly talk about the structure of your help desk. SmarterTrack is organized in a very logical manner. First, you start with your brand, which is basically your company or organization. Your brand contains one or more departments. Each department, therefore, contains one or more groups. Each group contains one or more employees, and then each employee can operate in one or more brands or departments. As you can see, there's a definite structure to how SmarterTrack is organized, but a limitless number of combinations for how you can organize your business. There's a good chance that when your SmarterTrack help desk was set up, some default departments were added. To see what they are, you'll want to click on Settings here in the navigation pane, then expand the System Settings folder and then the Organization subfolder. Once you click on Departments, you'll see which departments are already available. Now, that's all well and good, but what if you wanted to create a new department? Well, it's really pretty simple. You just need to click the New button. Let's go ahead and create an IT department for our company. We'll add in IT department as the name. We'll go ahead and use our default brand. All languages is good. Frontline group. The frontline group is really just that, the group that will receive tickets and live chats sent to that department. Let's go ahead and name our frontline group IT Level 1. Now, there are some checkboxes here, but for the sake of brevity, we'll only check Enable Live Chat for now. We'll look at some of these other settings later. And that's it. Click the Save button, and as you can see, we now have a new department created with a frontline group. Now, what if you wanted another group inside your new department? Maybe an IT manager group so that your agents could escalate issues, transfer tickets, or other items. Creating a new group is just as easy as creating a department. First, click on Groups. Here you'll see the groups that already exist, and here's the one we just created for our new IT department. To create a new group, just click the New button right here. The first thing we'll want to do is assign it to a department, so I'll select the IT department. Then we need to give our new group a name. Let's go ahead and call it IT Managers. Again, there are some other settings available for the group, but for now we'll leave it at that. Click the Save button and we're done. Our new group is created. So let's quickly review what we've just done. We added a new department to our help desk, we created a frontline group for that department, and then we created an entirely new group as well. So we have some departments set up, there are some groups set up, and now you're hopefully getting the hang of things. So it's time to beef up our staffing and add in a new employee to our help desk. To add an employee, we need to go to the settings here in the navigation pane. When we click on it, we'll see two different settings options, My Settings and System Settings. My Settings are just that, the settings that pertain to a specific user. System Settings, however, what we're concerned with is this is where we're going to add employees. As a side note, users with the administrator role see both My Settings and System Settings. However, employees with just the agent or manager roles will only see My Settings. Go ahead and expand the System Settings folder in the Organization subfolder and click on Employees. Here we'll see all of the employees currently in the system. My guess is, since we're just getting started, there will be only one employee listed. So go ahead and click on the New button. Now we're presented with the login information and user details for our new employee. Since John Doe is set up as our initial user, let's go ahead and set up Jane Doe as our new employee. We'll give her a password, add an email address so she can get email notifications and tickets. We'll set up her display name. We'll just go ahead and use the default skin and time zone settings as well. However, we could adjust these if Jane were working remotely in another state or even in another country. So now we have Jane set up, but we need to give her the agent role so she can start interacting with users. To do this, go ahead and click on Roles. The role you give an employee is really based on what it is you want them to do. Since we want Jane to be able to respond to tickets and answer live chats, we're going to go ahead and give her the agent role. For now, that's good. There's some other settings we could configure, but we'll go over those in another video. So click Save, and there we have it. Jane is now an employee in our help desk. The next step is to add her to the groups we want her to be active in. And in this case, we're going to add her to a group within the IT department. To do this, just click on Groups. Here we'll see the various default groups that were set up for each department. And since we want Jane in the IT department, we'll go ahead and double-click on the IT Level 1 group. Once the IT Level 1 group is open, click on the Agents tab. Now let's add in Jane, so click the Add Agent button. Just to the right of the agent label, click on the drop-down and select Jane's name from the agent list. Now, even though Jane is the only agent within this group, we still need to select a ticket workload wait for her. Otherwise, when she logs in, she won't automatically start receiving tickets and live chats. She'll have to manually select them from the ticket or live chat queues. Also, since we want Jane to receive live chats from end users, we'll want to go ahead and check Enable Live Chat for her. To finalize the changes, click the OK button, then click the Save button to actually assign Jane to the IT Level 1 group. So now let's take a quick look at what we've done. We added Jane as an employee, we assigned her to the agent role, we then added her to the IT Level 1 group so that she could communicate with our end users. Although the web portal will be the primary way users and customers interact with your agents, there are times when sending an email to your departments is a preferable way to communicate. That's where email settings come in handy. The first email setting we'll look at is the POP setting. This allows SmarterTrack to pull emails from an outside email address, generally a support @ or sales @ email address, and turn those emails into tickets. Taking advantage of this functionality is pretty easy. First, click on the department to set up for POP importing. On the Options tab, you want to click the Enable Ticket Importing from POP checkbox so that SmarterTrack knows that tickets for that department will come in via email. Once this is done, the POP tab becomes available. Click on it and we'll see all of the necessary login information for the email address we're using as an outside contact. Add in the server name, change the port settings if need be. It's always a good idea to use SSL if possible. Go ahead and drop in the username and password, and if need be, change the frequency with which SmarterTrack will check the email address for any new mail. Once all of this information is filled in, click the Test Settings button, and SmarterTrack will attempt to log into the email address. Well, look at that. We've successfully passed the test. One thing to note is this little reminder. When you set up POP retrieval for a department, all of the email that goes to the address you specify is pulled into SmarterTrack and transitioned into the ticketing system, and therefore deleted off the mail server. So be sure POP retrieval is really desired before it's set up. The next thing we'll look at is the SMTP setting. This allows responses to email tickets to be sent from SmarterTrack using the email address you specify. Again, this will generally be a support @ or sales @ email address, but it can really be any address available. Now, just like with POP settings, the SMTP settings are pretty straightforward. First, click on the SMTP tab, then go ahead and fill out all of the information that's asked for. Email address, a friendly name can be added, add in the server settings. Again, SSL is a good idea, and if the server requires SMTP authentication, go ahead and add in that information as well. Once everything is filled out, you can once again test these settings. Oh, very nice, another success. So let's go ahead and review what we've just done. We added in the ability to pull emails from an outside email address into SmarterTrack using POP settings. Then we added the ability to respond to tickets from a specific email address using SMTP settings. This allows email to be used as a mechanism for communication with users, and now all of that communication is organized and stored within SmarterTrack. Now, if you don't know what any of these settings are, be sure to ask your administrator. And congratulations, we've just added another way to communicate with users. The web portal will be a key component for your online community, and it will probably end up being the place your users go to utilize self-service resources or communicate with your employees. Therefore, let's use the example of submitting a ticket to our IT department using the portal, then take a look at what an employee would see when the ticket comes in. To submit a ticket, a user simply has to click the Submit a Ticket icon here on the portal. As you can see, a drop-down lists the departments that are available to the user. I want to submit a question to the IT department, so I'll go ahead and select it. The fields that are displayed are default fields, but SmarterTrack allows you to create custom fields you could use so that you can collect specific information from users, things like product names, software versions, model numbers, or other pieces of information. For For the sake of brevity, here's the information I'm going to submit. Once the form's filled out, I just click the Submit Ticket button and my question is on its way to the IT department. As you can see, it already is assigned a ticket number so I can reference it if needed. On the management interface side of things, this is what our agent would see. Once the ticket comes in, they'll see this indicator on the Tickets tab here in the navigation pane. When a ticket does come in, it's automatically assigned to an agent and shows as an active ticket under the My Tickets window. They can then go ahead and reply to it and make sure that the user's issue or question is answered completely and professionally. So that's a ticket and how it's submitted from the web interface, plus how our agent sees it when it comes in. Email is another important way your agents can receive and respond to tickets from users. Most companies have an email address set up for sales inquiries or support, billing, or even human resources questions. SmarterTrack can help keep requests to those departments organized and easily accessible. Since we already set up an IT department and then configured the email settings for that department, let's go ahead and send a request to IT. I'll use a standard email client and type up a short message. There, hit send and it's on its way. From the agent side of things, there isn't that much that's different from requests that are sent in from the portal. The email is pulled into the ticketing system and the agent can then read it and respond to it just like before. The benefit, however, is that giving users an email address to send questions or requests to makes it much easier for them to communicate with your employees. In addition, SmarterTrack keeps all of that communication organized and easily accessible to agents, supervisors, and managers for reporting, for metrics, and even compliancy purposes. And that's a quick look at some basics of configuring SmarterTrack for your business. If you have additional questions, be sure to check out our own portal at portal.smartertrack.com, where you can find a number of self-service resources to help further configure your SmarterTrack site. You can also visit our community forums at forums.smartertrack.com and interact with other SmarterTrack.com users. Finally, feel free to email us at sales@smartertrack.com.